do 150 dials minimum a day, click to call for first to market and drive for dollar records, and then he rehashes monthly through the dialer. Yep. You literally are following it like the first to market like playbook basically. Which is dope.
So I just use REISift for the data, acquisitions, dispo, all that stuff. And then I use smartphone, smart dialer for cold calling, SMS, and the direct mail I use for you guys too for REISift. But I haven't really I just started using that this year.
And then you use REISift as your CRM.
Yep. That's pretty much it. I think I use Grumpy Hair for the website instead of Carrot.
What is that called?
Grumpy Hair. It's Drell Norden or something. He basically just like copied Carrot. It's cheaper. It's like 97 a month. He uses Beaver Builder to like build out the website, so it's a little bit, you can do more customization than Carrot. The only thing that he doesn't do as much is the backlink part, and it's more of like a done for, you have to do it yourself type program. But you know, I built the website up from that, and I've gotten a few deals from it from the past year from it, I think. Nice. I think pretty much it. I mean, my budget's pretty low. Like, I think I'm only spending, I don't know, like with direct mail and stuff, probably $1,500, $1,800 a month. And I'm doing like, I think last year I did 83, right? Or no, 80 a month in gross revenue after paying people. I probably did close to like 60, I think.
Nice. So you crushed it basically. What niche are you focused on?
So that's the issue. I hate it. So I'm just trying to like get out of the business where I don't have to do everything myself. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. But what was your question?
What niche are you focused on?
Probates. Tax lien.
Probates. Tax lien and probates, man.
Percent of my business came from probates.
What market are you in again?
Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. Yeah.
Okay. It's a weird market where you have to like physically go to the courthouse to get the data. There's no online. So you know, every record I get, I send someone to get it for me, but you have to physically go to the courthouse to get it. They don't have like an online.
That makes me so happy you just said that. Anybody here that was about to try to make excuses later in the week about or next week about like, oh well, in person, I got to go in person, yada yada. Sam just shuts you up.
I used to like, yeah, I would go in every week to go pick it up. So you make friends with everybody when you go.
Dude, that's awesome. So again, just to show you really don't need a lot of tools. So okay, so he's got his stack, and really what Sam's really trying to do now is figure out how does he add more stuff in to make it to where he's less in the business and more enjoying life, because it can get drained real quick. Don't matter how much money you make. If you're like feeling like getting out of bed in the morning really sucks, it's not worth it. Yeah, that's all first to market, Alex, which is wild. Yeah, that's badass, dude. Can he share what his team looks like? Yeah, go ahead, Sam. What is your, well, no, he said it's just him. So it's just you doing the cold calling and acquisitions and everything, or?
Yeah, so I like basically my day works out. Like, I'll add all the data and stuff in the morning when I wake up. I'll do the first market prospecting from like 10 to 1. I'll take like a 15-20 minute break in between all that. It's all click to call, so I don't use a dialer. And then I'll take like a little bit of a break to like go work out or eat, go outside, stuff like that. And then after that, I do all my follow-ups and dispo, stuff like that, acquisitions, whatever, in the afternoon. I try to get everything done by 6, so I try not to like work too much. I used to like put in a lot more hours when I was doing it like in the beginning, getting everything started. I do have a lot of experience though. I used to do like a ton of flips. I didn't like flips either. I didn't like dealing with contractors. So I'm not like a novice. Like, this is something that I've been in the business probably for like, I'd say like 10 years now. So, it's hard to get the numbers that I'm doing without like knowing how much it's going to cost to do a renovation without looking at the house. So I'm at that point with my market where if I know the style of house it is, what year it's built, I know what it's going to cost based on what they tell me. So like, I would say like, if you're just trying to like copy a model like that, gain as much knowledge as you can about like your market and then apply that when you're talking to sellers and stuff. And the biggest thing that I do is problem solve. Like, that's I get all my deals from going above and beyond what other people do, because I'm not just throwing out numbers. I'm figuring out how I can help them get to whatever they're trying to accomplish. And then that generally gets me a better deal in return because, I'm helping them and they're like, I don't mind selling it to him for 20K less than the other person because, they went to the courthouse for me and filed my real estate affidavit for that, for like my family, and so stuff like that, that's thinking outside the box. I would say that's my number one recommendation when it comes to first to market.
Yeah. I mean, what you just said is fucking spot on. Like that's the way to do it. I mean, understanding when you get to a point, and this is why community farming is really powerful, by the way, for those that when I mentioned that we're curious what it is, it's because if you understand a community really well, any lead that comes in, it's an instant understanding of like, is it a deal? What needs done? Like you know that area so much that it makes the acquisitions process that much easier. And if there is a problem, like, hey, I need to do probate or I need tax delinquent, like you really know the county, you know how to navigate. And this is where like people have it's one of those things like remember early on I said like what's the difference between the person who's like a 9 level versus a 3 level. It's literally just experience. It's knowledge. It's the way that you think. It's the bumps and the bruises that have healed. It's the reps that have made the muscle memory possible to make a deal out of something that wasn't a deal. All that stuff plays a part. And then at its core, it's from a generating the opportunity perspective, it's being able to shut off the part of your brain that's like there must be something more and just following something that like works, like that just is, and just realizing that you can't dumb it down any more than like the first to market strategy, for example. It's just a matter of like intaking more data. Someone did ask how much data do you get in Virginia Beach a week?
So when I say Virginia Beach, it's like Hampton Road. So it's 6 different counties. So I have to go to like six
Okay.
different houses. But I get about 200 probates a month from that. And then pre-foreclosure is probably another, I'd say like 70 on average. And then anything else I'll just throw in, I'll just do driving for dollars, tax delinquent, I'll just stack those together. So if it's like a crappy house with like tax delinquency, I'll just call those. I'll do click to call first, but then I'll throw them into the dialer on the second, third, fourth call before I put them into like a rehash.
Dude, you're making me
Yeah,
want to freaking fire everybody and just
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, dude.
it's a
Jesus,
lot of work
man.
though. I mean,
I
I,
spend a whole lot more.
yeah, it's just you're putting in your time versus your money. So like right now I'm at the point where I'm comfortable putting in my money because I've put in the time. So I'm
Yeah.
basically tired from the cold calling game.
Yeah.
The 200 a month is really the minimum. Like you need to be able to at least get 200, right? I think Quentin gets like nearly 200 a week, and Quentin would puke, Sam, if he heard what you just explained, because he does get a lot of data, and that's in Florida, like only 3 different counties in Florida, I think he's in. But he gets like I think Duval County is like almost 100 a week. It's a lot of probates, but that's why like Jacob and Quentin can be in the same exact market, like, and it's no problem. They JV and whatnot, because there's so much death in Florida, because of all the old people we got. But 200 is the minimum, and and I always tell people like 200. If you get 200 probates a month, there should be 2 deals in there, right? At least. It's just like there's a lot of small things where if you don't call and get a hold of the person that every phone number was wrong or dead for that individual, like that could have been the one deal. And so that's where the problem is for some people is they start doing or they start doing first to market, and the deals that were deals were the ones that they didn't spend that a little bit of extra time on, because if there's only 200 records that you're responsible for a month from first to market on probates, like you should I mean, you should know a lot about all 200 of those people. Like I'm guessing right now, Sam, even with you just calling, your smartphone bill for a single seat with smart dialer seat, you're probably spending like 50% of what you're spending a month is probably on smartphone, is my guess. It's 300 to 500 a month or something is probably on smartphone.
It's like 350. That's what it's been, and that's with
Yeah.
like the data management where like record your calls and stuff. Also, another thing too, like
Um,
I use RID rep for like making sure it doesn't spam out. That is helpful for me. My calls are never like spammed out, no matter how many dials I make. So I'm not saying to use them, but I do use that as like a part of my tools.
Yeah. Caller ID reputation is a good one. It's like $100 a month or something like that, right? I
They
want to
upped their
say
price
for.
$2.99 for
Oh, did
send
they?
home. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um.
And
Okay. What would you recommend as far as the best order to implement bulk dialer versus click to call? Do you typically use bulk dialing first to validate? That's a good question. I believe bulk dialing needs to be in there. I believe everybody should be doing community farm. It is like I'm very passionate about community farming and first to market, and the community farming is something everybody should be doing. There should be no reason why we wait to even have anything in place before we start calling individuals and communities that we know are like killer communities, right? Because even if we don't know how to do the lead, if they say they're interested, just find someone to handle the lead for you, right? Like the biggest pattern that you really need a pattern disruptor in your life, right? To where we have at least the ability to show up and make some phone calls, right? Sam isn't successful because he hits probates. He's successful because he like has the discipline behind it, right? And that's part of why I think like bulk dialing is the biggest resistance. We can go to SIFTTUBE, we can download data, we can skip trace a community, we can start calling 100 people, 100 numbers a day really easily, very efficiently. When you think of bulk dialing, I have a feeling, well, when most people think of bulk dialing, they're thinking like, I have 7 cold callers and I'm dialing 10,000 records at a time, yada, yada, yada. Right? Like, that's not what I consider bulk dialing. Bulk dialing, I consider like, I'm grabbing 1,000 records in this community, I'm calling through it, in this other community, I'm calling through it, and I'm power dialer. That's what I consider bulk dialing. Um, First to market is just a matter of getting data from the county or from a source before my competitors. You can be doing first to market bulk dialing. Like Sam said, he uses Smart Dialer. That means that Sam is probably sending, after he's done click to calling once a month, I'm sure he's calling back through that data in Smart Dialer, right? Which is a bulk dialer. So you'll always, whether you're doing click to call or not, you'll always still need a bulk dialer as a tool because at the end of every month, you still need to rehash your campaigns. For example, last week on we started our rehash campaign, start of the month, right? So we did our February rehash, and as we started calling through it, I think we generated like 8 leads in one day. Like it was just stupid. I was like, what the fuck's going on right now? And it's because it was the start of the rehash dial, right? We generated 8 leads from people that hadn't picked up throughout February. And out of those, it was only like 300 people that we were calling, you know, and in one day, 8 leads. Now, will they convert right now? That doesn't really matter, right? They'll convert over time, or we'll lose the deal. Fact is, out of those 8, I'll lose 4 of them based off my statistics. Sam, do you do call, text, voicemail, or do you just call? Are you texting?
So I do, if obviously if it says mobile, I'll text it every time for the 4 straight days. Unless they respond. I get a lot of responses back through text though. So I will say
Yeah,
that.
so do we.
that's with Kixie.
No, I use smartphone. So I'll use smartphone for both the dialer and also for just regular.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not luck, it's action compounded over time, right? That's what it is. And it's funny how, I just keep getting lucky. It's not luck. Sam's not luck. Kyle's not luck. Peyton's not luck. Anybody else who's, mentioning their numbers in here and making money, none of it's luck. It's all effort.